Continuing our coverage on Avengers Doomsday, which is the big movie that everything's been leading up to. Technically, this started with the post-credit scene for Marvel's Thunderbolts or Marvel's New Avengers, whichever you want to call it. And also, it'll follow on from Marvel's next big 10-pole, 4-quadrant movie that they are hoping does well, aka the Fantastic Four, which comes out at the end of next month. Part of this plot leak we're going over will actually cover a little bit of this. So this information is coming from an up-and-coming scooper called James Mack, who he claimed he was the person that leaked the actual script for Ant-Man 3 that ended up on Reddit. We can't confirm or deny this, but for some reason, whatever this guy says, it goes viral on Twitter. So I'm doing things a little bit different. I'm listening to feedback, guys. I'm trying to improve. So we're going to cover what he's saying and just break down, is it true? Is it viable? Disclaimer, I don't know if it's true. So yo, what is good, YouTube? Don't worry. I haven't ditched the old intro, but I've listened to feedback and we're just going to adjust it a little bit. So this information comes from the same kind of people or person that the last information comes from his source who allegedly works in the design area for Dr. Doom's plan. So apparently this is it. Victor Von Doom's plan is to survive the end of everything and forge his own world. Doom discovers that Earth 616 is the central sacred timeline held together by two anchor beings. Already, that's a bit skeptical. Two anchor beings. Tony Stark was the anchor. Now, is this going along with, oh, Deadpool and Wolverine did that bit at the end of Deadpool Wolverine, and Wolverine was the anchor, and they had some kind of bond, and it appeared that Deadpool and Wolverine become the anchor of that universe, although it's never been confirmed or verified by Marvel Studios themselves. He wants to eliminate them so that the sacred timeline will collapse more quickly. One of these beings is already dead, aka Tony Stark, and the other is Peter Parker. Now, this is interesting because they've recently reshuffled the movie. What I mean? Well, we know Tom Holland is busy or was busy with Odyssey. Then he's going to be shooting his own movie, aka Spider-Man 4, which is shooting around Europe, in the UK, and apparently other various places. So the original rumor was that Peter Parker, aka Tom Holland, wasn't even going to be in the movie properly. But if they're now saying that Tony Stark and Peter Parker are both the anchors of the sacred timeline, a good proportion of this movie would be Tony Stark trying to kill Peter Parker. So thus far, Tom Holland can't just be a side character. And I'm a little bit skeptical about that. So it went on to say, remember the invasion I mentioned earlier? Doom sends an army of Doombots and generals to eliminate Peter Parker and the last pillar of the 616. Visual concepts currently in development shows Doom's ship as a Colossus planet-like cellular structure with the mask sculptured at the center. And then, obviously, this is a conversation. Oh, Peter, wow, it makes sense that he has a lot of importance in the saga. 2 films already, will we see more about this in the 4th film? I don't think this makes any sense, to be honest. Now, in Deadpool and Wolverine, you know, we had the end sequence when the TVA came along and somehow they saved the universe. It was almost implied that Deadpool and Wolverine are now the anchors of that universe. But we've always been under the perception and rules that each universe has one anchor being, not 2 anchor beings. Goes on to say, the story connects directly to Brand New Day, and yes, Peter Parker will be in Doomsday. With the film's delay, there's now room to integrate Tom Holland more deeply. They need the emotional parallel between Peter and the image of Tony Stark that Doom carries with him. I mean, I want to believe this is true, but this just seems a bit ironic that this comes out after we have the delays. And we don't even know when Brand New Day is coming out, do we? Just because it's still slated to come out next summer doesn't mean it actually will come out next summer. But if you go back on the Warstu videos, I've always said that Tom Holland, Spider-Man, would be in Doomsday because he's got to be. So there is more information. So it goes on to say, Doom travels to the universe where Monica Rambeau is trapped, aiming to kill the universe anchor, Charles Xavier. He leads a direct assault on the X-Mansion using the Sentinels. After witnessing the power of Sentry, who is on the Earth alongside with the Avengers, Doom decides to use him as an energy source for the new world. A concept art I worked on for Avengers Secret Wars shows the Sentry in the Earth's core functionality on a reactor. That's the one that leaked. Now, this is interesting because as we know, the story will be cohesive hopefully, and it will be evolving, ever evolving, right? But most people could, come up with a theory that it's going to be Hickman's version of Secret Wars, and we're going to get to some kind of version of Battle World. But this just seems a bit ironic to me, and there's crazy theories out there which don't even make sense, right? There's one theory out there that says the reason why Doctor Doom is attacking the X-Mansion is because he's after Charles X's Cerebro, right? Which we know is the machine used in the X-Men movies to detect where mutants are all over the world. It's a very complex device. So the theory says that he's going to try and use that to locate where Loki is. But where Loki is kind of outside of the multiverse. So, and also you'd have to modify it because I'm pretty sure it only detects mutants. But for someone as clever as Doctor Doom, it wouldn't be hard to modify that, would it? No, but how Professor X uses it is he uses his telekinesis, telepath powers to help him calibrate the Cerebro to basically locate all the mutants. And it's a very clever device, but it would be interesting if Doctor Doom was going to use that in order to find out where Loki is. But I mean, I could be wrong. Let me know down below, lads. I'm pretty sure where Loki is outside of the multiverse, right? Outside of space-time continuum, almost like the quantum realm and astral plane, where it's not technically in the multiverse, but it is. But that would be very clever. That really would. Now, if this James Mack is right, it is pretty cool why he's attacking that universe, because you would assume someone like Professor X, Charles X, would be the anchor being of that universe. And all this information is pretty cool, but like I say, it's ever evolving. We don't know if this James Mack's legit, but to be fair, like I've always said, it doesn't matter to me and any of you guys, because if you watch content like this, you're just on the hype train to hype up this movie long term. So it doesn't matter. It's a discussion. It's building the Marvel community back up to like it was. It's nowhere near on the level where it was for Endgame. So he also said this kind of stuff. Rumor. In the concept art prop, the Avengers Doomsday, Doctor Doom will use a ship full of planet-shaped Doombots with his mass to invade them on Earth 616. That's interesting. Kind of what we already went over. And he did show some images and they went into a bit more detail here. It's worth remembering that in Secret Wars, Doom uses Johnny as the son of Battleworld, spending years burning and suffering. He also uses Ben the Thing as walls of the Battleworld, spending years of suffering standing still. Bob is the most suffering man in the MCU if it's like the comics. After Doom created Battleworld, it took a few years for the heroes to save everything. So imagine our Bob spending years in captivity tied to chains. And there technically was like a leaked image. Technically was a leaked image of someone. I don't know if it actually was him, but technically was. And there's a little bit more information, which could be a mild spoiler for the Fantastic Four movie. We've already been over that. I would take care for spoilers, but this is a pretty spoiler-based video. Doom also needs the powers of Wanda Maximoff. He learns that Earth 616 version is the most powerful Scarlet Witch across all the realities, and he plans to resurrect her using Franklin Richards' powers. So is that why in the alleged, I'm not going to say alleged because I've spoke to someone that was at that screening, so I know it's true. So in the post-credit scene for Fantastic Four, it looks like some silhouette of Doctor Doom, probably because they don't want to pay RGJ for another cameo role, will steal Franklin Richards from Sue Storm. Fantastic Four spoilers for you, my friend James, but at the end of the movie, Sue Storm dies, but Franklin brings her back to life with a touch. This ability becomes the key to Doom's plan to resurrect Wanda and use her. Finally, going to Loki is his final move. And we've said this for the longest time, that eventually Doom has to go to Loki because Loki is holding everything together. And in order to control the multiverse, you need to take out Loki. Not actually take him out, but you need to control what he's controlling or harness what he's already harnessing. Is this true? I don't know. A lot of this could be made up. A lot of this could be guesswork. But either way, it helps build the community, the Marvel community. Let's try, lads and ladettes, and get the community back to the way it was in Infinity War and Endgames, where there was so much freaking hype. I know Marvel's been on the massive downward spiral lately, but this does sound really cool to me. I know everyone wants Wanda to return, and I keep saying Wanda is going to return. I've been saying that for the longest time ever. I'm still not buying the fact that Wolverine and Deadpool appear in Doomsday. It doesn't make sense to me. It would make more sense for them to actually appear in Avengers Secret Wars. There's no point having them appear just for the sake of it. I mean, sure, they're the anchor beings, but it doesn't mean they need to appear. What the freaking hell are they going to do? What is Wolverine and Deadpool going to do to Doom? Not an awful lot, if you ask me. So I do believe some of this information could be true. It is a pretty cool plan. So they plan to use Franklin's powers to resurrect the Scarlet Witch. Very interesting. But it still doesn't state what they're going to do to Loki when they get there. I can't see him killing Loki off again. Narratively speaking, it just wouldn't make sense if that is the plan. So it is interesting. Franklin has powers to bring people back. This ability becomes key to Doom's plan to resurrect Wanda and use her. So whatever they're doing, whatever Doom's doing with his Doom bots, they need everything in order to storm Loki. Is Loki really this powerful that you need all these beings? I'm sure he is, but we haven't actually seen his power. All we've seen him at the end of Loki season 2 is harness the sacred timeline and save but he's not really saving anyone, really, because this is topic for another video, is this whole time loop. It's still in play. It's still in play, but we're going to go over something that Alex Perez went over in his latest article, but talk about how this massive time loop that Kang the Conqueror, he remains. I think that time loop's still in play, and I think that could be the real reason. I think it goes far back to say that Kang knew Doom and Strange seen Doom. I think this goes back quite far, so it's theory mill, but that will be a video in a couple of days. So like always, guys, check out the Instagram at Warstu, check out the TikTok Warstu, check us out on Twitter, WarstuG, and yes, I have changed things a little bit. I get it, the intro was, what it's good, YouTube Warstu. I mean, I might still do that, but I want to get more into talking to the point straight away, rather than doing an intro like I used to. So yeah, I'm not saying it's stick forever, but for now, this is how I'm going to do the videos. So thank you very much, guys. Like always, if you could become a channel member, it really does help the channel for less than 99p. Really helps your boy. And I will catch ya in another video very soon. Catch ya later.